Hello, my name is Alyssa McNally, and this will be my reflection on cultural competence as an educator. To be a culturally competent educator means feeling a responsibility to understand the culture, diverse needs, and identity of the students that you are working with. Getting to know the children's families and communities. What challenges do they face? What strengths do they have? Understanding that being able to have an impact takes knowledge of those you are impacting. Teachers need to develop a relationship with not only the child, but the child's community as well. What do they value as a whole? How do they see the world? A culturally competent educator asks themselves these questions. They learn from their students just as much as they are teaching them. For me personally, when it comes to the cultural competency chart, I see myself at stage 5, cultural competence, which is characterized by a commitment to social and economic justice. Some other characteristics include behaving mindfully in a manner that demonstrates a value for diversity, and someone who demonstrates commitment to human or civil rights, and social justice as defined by the marginalized individual or group. I would place myself here because I have always been someone who takes justice and equality very seriously. Even as a child, I remember actually being traumatized when I learned about the history of slavery in my country. I have such a heart for justice, and I consider myself to be a very empathetic person, sometimes even to a fault. In schools today, I'm very passionate now about issues like bullying and equity. No child should have to feel like they are not able to be successful in school, whether it's because of how they are treated by peers or how they are being treated or not supported by a teacher. I currently work with kids as a behavior coach, and I'm often in the classrooms with them. One thing that always makes me so upset, and I have seen several times, is when a teacher is done with a student who has essentially given up on a student. Whether it was because the student did have difficult behaviors or the student just wasn't motivated, I believe that the teacher should still be constantly trying their best to support that student for as long as they have them in their classroom. A child knows when an adult has given up on them or does not believe in them, and it actually affects them at a much deeper level than just their education. The only reason I would not place myself at the culturally proficient stage in the chart is actually because of my religion and beliefs in protecting children. In general, I do consider myself to actually be a very compassionate and kind person, as it mentions in this stage. I do think that I'm also very understanding of differences. However, if there is something that ever goes against my beliefs as a Christian, or if there's ever something that I personally feel would be harmful or dangerous to a child, then I would have a hard time being accepting of it. I would have a hard time holding back my judgments and my concerns. I do understand that some of these concerns may also come from personal biases. Therefore, when issues do arrive, I plan on considering what biases I may be holding, as well as try and see where the other side is coming from. For example, are they truly trying to do what is best for the child's success and well-being? If the answer is yes, then I will need to learn to bend and be flexible, to learn how the issue may be resolved in a way that supports the other person, rather than allowing my bias to keep me stuck in one way of doing something. Thankfully, with diversity being as strong as it is in these recent years, there are many resources available to support an educator who is wanting to learn in this area. Technology makes knowledge available with just the click of a button. There's websites, libraries, and even cultural events that can help bring so much awareness. The educator, I believe, should also consider going to community events within their school's district in order to learn about specific cultures that they are working in. Where do the students come from? This could help the educator learn the students' strengths and also their needs. For my future classroom, cultural inclusivity will start with the students sharing their own lives with the whole class. They will be asked to talk about their lives in front of the class in order to teach us all about who they are as individuals. From there, I will be placing all of these different student projects on a specific wall in order to celebrate differences, celebrate who they are. Through the year, we will constantly be referencing the wall and talking about who they are as individuals and how their individuality and differences actually affect and influence them being successful in the classroom. As long as I am always viewing and treating the students with respect as a human being, as a child who is actually relying on me to be educationally successful, I do not think I will ever have any issues with beliefs that do not align with my own personal spiritual beliefs and moral values. Main reason, because my main moral value and belief as an educator will be to support the students. My job will be to teach them to the best of my ability, no matter what beliefs or moral values they hold.